Welcome to our council meeting for March 18th, 2026. This meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec. Annual notice has been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the Daily Record. It was posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcements. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Here.
Mr. Falcone.
Present.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Kukovic. Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Mr. Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Glatte.
Here. If you'll all stand and join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point in time, I'm going to turn the rest of our meeting over to our police chief, McCluskey.
Everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Good evening. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I will move quick. Obviously, we have a packed house here tonight. So our agenda is going to start off with our swearing in of our newest officers. Then we will go to our awards program and then to the promotion of David Kraus to sergeant. So at this time, I would like to invite up our three newest officers to come forward. Logan Kovas, Joseph Rivera, and Tyler Blanco. Each of these officers took their oath of office prior to beginning the police academy. However, they did not have the opportunity at the time to take their oath in front of their family, friends, colleagues, mayor, council, and the citizens of Hopatcong. Tonight, we are proud to recognize them all and allow them to share this moment with those who have supported them along the way. Logan Kovas graduated the Morris County Police Academy in November and has been serving with the Hopatcong Police Department Patrol Division since that time. Joseph Rivera began the Passaic County Police Academy in November and is scheduled to graduate in May. Tyler Blanco began the Morris County Police Academy in January and is scheduled to graduate in June. Upon graduation, both officers will begin their field training with the Hopatcong Police Department's Patrol Division. At this time, I would like to ask Mayor Glatte to administer the oath of office to Logan Kovas, Joseph Rivera, and Tyler Blanco. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joseph Rivera,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will
and that I will
bear true faith
bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will impartially
that I will impartially
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
patrol officer
patrol officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Next is our awards program. So every year, we do this yearly, our sergeants and our lieutenant, they nominate officers who stood out this year and went above and beyond. But every day, our officers in this department and other departments that are here do amazing work. They show up every day with bravery, courage, compassion, and they are the calm in some of people's worst moments. So for all our officers in the room, not just ours, other departments, fire, EMS, our dispatchers, can I please get a round of applause? I'd like to call Patrolman Stephen McGregor. The Honorable Service Award is presented to Patrolman Stephen McGregor for his dedication and persistence during a theft investigation involving more than $40,000. While investigations of this size are normally handled by the Detective Bureau, Patrolman McGregor took ownership of this case and continued to pursue every lead. Over the course of more than 2 years, he remained committed to the investigation, carefully preparing subpoenas, reviewing financial records, and methodically following the evidence wherever it led. His persistence ultimately led to the identification of the suspect and filing of criminal charges for theft. Patrolman McGregor's hard work, initiative, and determination reflect the very best of the Hopatcong Police Department and truly go above and beyond normal responsibilities and assigned duties. Congratulations, Patrolman McGregor. Patrolman Daniel Mallow. The department's Chief's Achievement Award is presented to Patrolman Lallo for his continued dedication to the Hopatcong Police Department field training program. For several years, Patrolman Lallo has served as a field training officer, playing a critical role in the development of our new officers. As an FTO, he works side by side with trainees, using real calls for service as opportunities to teach, mentor, and evaluate. Through his guidance, patience, and leadership, he helps ensure that each new officer develops skills, confidence, and professionalism necessary to succeed in this profession. His dedication to training has strengthened our patrol division and helped shape the next generation of Hopatcong police officers. His commitment to the department and to the success of others makes him truly deserving of the Chief's Achievement Award. All right, the next one's a long one. Maybe double row here. Change my order on these. Detective Sergeant Siri. Detective Ronnie Giordano. Patrolman Daniel Lallo. Patrolman Eric Macarico. Detective Patrick Rohan. Patrolman David Jacob. Patrolman Joseph Fagan. Patrolman Logan Kogas. Humane Law Enforcement Officer Gianna DiMatteo. Dispatcher Judy Wolf. Patrolman Robert Popelka from the Stanhope Police Department. Patrolman Jordan Anderson from the Stanhope Police Department. Sergeant Christopher Spaldo from the Byron Police Department. The unit award is presented to these officers, dispatchers, and our animal control officer for their teamwork, professionalism, and courage during the February 11th structure fire at Oscar, One Step Closer annual rescue. Officers responded to a confirmed structure fire at the facility where more than 40 dogs were housed. Upon arrival, they were faced with rapidly developing dangerous situation. Working together alongside firefighters and rescue personnel, the officers quickly began evacuating dogs from kennels while the building was actively burning. They operated in close proximity to heavy smoke, heat, and hazardous conditions in order to rescue the animals and assist with emergency operations. Inside the communication center, our dispatcher played a critical role by managing an overwhelming number of 911 calls while simultaneously coordinating radio communications for police, fire, EMS, and animal control personnel. Her her calm demeanor and ability to effectively coordinate resources ensured that responders had the information they needed during this rapidly evolving emergency. Our animal control officer, with a dual role as our humane law enforcement officer, also played a vital role in the operation, assisting with the safe handling, evacuation, and relocation of animals once they were removed from the building, helping to ensure their safety and continued care during the incident. In addition to rescuing the dogs from the building, officers assisted with coordinating the relocation of animals and supporting fire suppression efforts throughout the incident. Through teamwork, professionalism, and courage, these individuals helped save 37 of the 43 dogs housed in that facility. Their actions reflect great credit upon themselves, the Hopatcong Police Department, and the assisting agencies. For their teamwork and dedication during a critical emergency, they are hereby awarded the Unit Award. Next, I'd like to call up Richard Heller, Andrew Kuski, and Matthew Reiner. Oh, and Damon Jenkins. The Civilian Service Award is presented to these individuals for their selfless actions during the February 11th, 2006 fire at Oscar. Employees from Lakeside Construction, whose business is located next to the rescue, saw that the kennel building was engulfed in flames and immediately rushed over to help. Without protective equipment and with little regard to their own safety, they began evacuating dogs from locked kennels using bolt cutters and continued to assist when the emergency personnel got on scene. Their effort played a major role in saving 37 of the 43 dogs that were housed there that day. Damon Jenkins of Fire and Bus also stepped forward to help. After learning about the fire, he contacted the Hopatcong Police Communication Center to offer assistance. Recognizing the number of animals that needed to be relocated, he quickly dispatched 2 school buses to the scene to help transport dogs. Mr. Jenkins also opened up Fire and Bus Garage so animals could be temporarily sheltered and allowed volunteers and Oscar staff to use the property as a staging area. The actions of these individuals demonstrate the true meaning of community partnership. Their willingness to step in and help during an emergency reflects the very spirit of the Civilian Award. Congratulations. Next, Sergeant Richard Boslin. Patrolman Matthew Condrick. Patrolman David Jacob. And Sean Hangley. This life-saving award is presented to Sergeant Richard Boslin, Patrolman Matthew Condrick, Patrolman David Jacob, and Sean Hangley for their actions on December 16th, 2025. The officers responded to a residence in Opakon for a report of CPR in progress. When they arrived, they found Jackie, our friend and our coworker, with a very weak pulse and agonal breathing. Before first responders even arrived, Jackie's son, Sean Hangley, heard his mother call out and found her unresponsive on the floor. Immediately called 911 and began CPR. His quick thinking and immediate action played a critical role in saving his mom's life. Recognizing that every second mattered, the officers immediately continued life-saving efforts, providing rescue breathing and working quickly to stabilize her condition. Once EMS arrived and they made the critical decision to expedite transport to the hospital, the officers and dispatcher then coordinated an escort to the ambulance, blocking roadways and ensuring a clear, rapid route. It was later determined that Jackie had a brain aneurysm. Their combined efforts in Sean's immediate CPR and the officer's rapid response and transport was a significant reason for her survival. While she continues her recovery, Jackie is here today, and she is here today. Congratulations, officer and Sean, on the life-saving award. David Kress. Last but not least, David Krause has served the Hopatcong Police Department for the past 27 years. Throughout his career, he never slowed down. While assigned to patrol, he consistently ranked among the most proactive officers on the road. Over the years, he's taken on many roles, including field training officer, EMT, accident reconstructionist, drug recognition expert. In 2017, when Dave moved to the Detective Bureau, he expanded his expertise even further by becoming an arson investigator and worked closely with the Sussex County Guns, Gangs, and Narcotics Task Force. His dedication and hard work have not gone unnoticed. Throughout his career, Sergeant Krause has received numerous awards, including life-saving awards, the Exceptional Service Award, multiple Mother Against Drunk Driving Awards, the Chief Award on 2 occasions, a Law Enforcement Award from the New Jersey State Narcotic Enforcement Officers Association. In addition to his dedication to the department, Sergeant Krause has also committed a significant amount of time in the PBA, serving as a delegate and as a president for a large portion of his career. I have had the privilege of working with Dave throughout my entire career, often turning to him for advice, guidance, to bounce ideas off, or simply as a sounding board. It is truly my honor as Chief of Police, as a coworker, and as a friend to promote you to the rank of Sergeant. Raise your right hand. I, David Kress,
I, David Press,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New
of
Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
and that I will
and I will
bear true faith
bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will impartially
that I will impartially
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of sergeant
of the office of sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So help me God.
ability.
Congratulations. That is the end of our ceremony. I want to thank everybody for coming. Mayor, council, would you guys be okay with just out of 5-minute break so they can take some pictures since you're screening out them?
Absolutely.
Okay. So anybody who wants to take pictures, we can do that right now.
Can I have a motion for a 5-minute?
Oh, yeah, you need it.
Can I have a motion for a 5-minute recess?
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Who did the second? Is that Joe? I'm gonna hope that second was you, Joe.
Somebody was yelling it.
Rachel's gonna do.
Rachel.
Do we need this or?
I mean, it doesn't really make sense to only have one, right? Everyone's got to talk loud.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure we can all manage to raise our voices a little bit.
Yes, thank you. Great ceremony.
Actually, do you want to touch base real quick about that?
I've already told him that we'll contact him this week.
Nice ceremony.
So get me going.
Yeah, great.
There's so many, and if they're trying to do it,
I'm not gonna go.
Oh, my God. How you doing, bud?
So this is. So you have. Yeah. Yeah, so that guy said, so this is identical. Yeah, so like the only thing that they may change. Anything else. No, it's not a big mistake.
I just hung my head, I was like, ah.
well, I'm asking you already. It's just my behind all my people. Like,
It's,
And my mentor was a rep. Yeah. Rick Camp. He's since retired, yeah.
Can I have a motion to open? Second, all in favor? Okay, this brings us back to committee reports. I would like to congratulate Patrolman Dave Kraus on his promotion to sergeant this evening. I'd also like to welcome our newest police officers, Logan Kobitz, Joseph Rivera, and Tyler Blanco, and congratulate all of our award recipients this evening. Since our last meeting, I was asked to participate in Read Across America at the Hopakon Head Start Preschool. It's always an adventure to be around the children for the day. It was actually a very fun thing. They are so excited to have guests read to them. And I do want to thank them for the opportunity. We had a Seniors Inc. meeting in which the guest speaker was Sussex County Clerk Jeff Parrott. Our clerk, Jeff Parrott, has been attending the Senior Incorporated meetings for the last 15 years. And it was special this time because Jeff is not seeking office for the clerk come the end of December. So this would have been Jeff's last meeting at the Seniors Inc. and he did not disappoint in his comedic routine and the information that he provided to everybody. I do want to mention that Hopakon Borough had a team for the Leap in the Lake for the Lake Hopakon Elks this year. It was 38 degrees in the water. There was over $100,000 raised and still counting during the event. I would also like to congratulate my team and everybody that was on it because we took first place in the Best Mayor fundraiser category for 2026. They even gave us a trophy, which we have at the borough. I did not bring it here tonight. I'll bring it. You'll see it at the nenext meeting. But thank you to everyone who participated. It's such a great day to help all the special children in our area and around our surrounding area. We've had an additional America 250 meeting about our main municipal event that we'll be having. And as that progresses, I'll have more details on that. At the Lake Hopakon Commission meeting, we're very excited that the wheat harvesting will be starting May 15th this year. A reminder that the block party is May 16th. We're very excited that the Witten Park project will be going out to bid this month. That is a combination project between the Lake Hopakon Foundation and the municipality. Again, as that progresses, we can have more information on that. The lake is at 7.36 inches. And a reminder that the Hop Sale 250 for America 250 is going to be July 11th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the viewings. The viewing stand is at the River Styx Bridge. Ron and I attended a Board of Public Utilities meeting to which JCP&L and New Jersey Natural Gas were at the meeting. There were many questions that were asked in reference to the increase in rates. There was quite a bit of information that was given out. The majority of the increases are related to the repairs and upgrades in their systems. They've been focusing on having these utilities have more communication with their customers. And the BPU has tasked them with being able to roll out as many programs so that they can easily access you and your accounts and whatever it is that you are having an issue with, whether it's an outage, whether it's a leak, whether it's a pole that's down. The BPU has tasked them with making sure that they are available 24/7 at all times and to have them actually be able to communicate back with you in real time. The metrics are showing better repairs for reports. And also with smart technology for the new meters for JCP&L and New Jersey Natural Gas, instead of multi-system outages, they have the ability now to have multi-systems directional outages, which means instead of there being a huge outage with 350 customers, because of this technology now, they're able to centralize it to just a select few and be able to redirect everything that needs to go into a different area so that we can continue to have electric. As I've said in the past, JCP&L currently have their forestry service working throughout the borough. They are trimming back the trees and branches that are all around the power lines. Every few years they do that. They're in Hopakon right now. I have had a few people that reached out to me that have really bad issues with trees and branches over the power lines. And I have given those direct addresses to JCP&L. So if anybody has those or anybody knows anybody, just have them get back in touch with me. And there will be another quarterly meeting with the BPU that we'll all attend. Ron and I also attended a budget briefing with the governor's office as to what their increases were going to be for 2027, what aid was going to be available. It was a very small window for the meeting. It was an hour and there were several hundred people that were there. So we did not get our questions answered, unfortunately, but we're hoping to get a response because we were able to give them written questions. So hopefully we get that soon. Our auditors are still working diligently with our budget, and once they finish the review, they will give that to the finance committee, and then, of course, we would present that to the council. I would like to remind the public that if you have a private well, it is in your best interest to do a test for PFAS. There are several testing facilities that the state acknowledges. The results of those tests need to come from one of those labs. You cannot send any type of paperwork to the spill fund unless it's a lab that is accredited with the state of New Jersey. There is help with that. If you do need help, you can always reach out to me and to the municipality. I'd be more than happy to help anybody with those things. We've had several homes in the past that are in the municipal water testing. The state has asked us to get different testing, and so we're not testing the same homes over and over again. So we are asking anybody that's on municipal water to reach out for our administrator, and he can put you on the list to have your water tested for free. And that, again, is only open to people who are on municipal water. I do want to thank all of our police officers, our fire, our ambulance, our OEM officer, and our DPW. The weather has been absolutely crazy. It's been dangerous at times. It fluctuates from week to week. And I really just want to say thank you, because it is overwhelming when you think you're at the end of the horizon for this lousy weather, and then we're back in again salting because we've got ice coming. So I just want to say thank you to all of those people. And we'll start with Steve.
Just want to touch up on congratulations to all the background police department on their achievements tonight. And as you can see, like, it's a pretty big force, and now they're all gone. But I think the weeks in the lake, I can tell you, I was in there for like 15 seconds. By the time I got out, I didn't think I had my feet were attached to my body. It was that cold. So it was really a fun event, and I encourage you to go down there. It was a lot of fun. Like the next week or two, we're having a sewer and fire and OEM meeting, so I'll have a report then. And that's what I think.
Very good, thanks. Jonathan?
Environmental, we didn't have a meeting this month, but I just want to remind everybody that April 25th is Shred Day, and also the townwide cleanup. And we will be giving away seedlings. The Shred Day goes from 9 to 1. So anybody that's interested in getting the stuff shredded, just come to town hall, we'll have it done.
Can they reach out to
They can reach out to Cliff, London, basically anybody on the environmental issue. And as far as the senior Inc., we really haven't had a meeting, and you can put it for me.
Very good, thank you. Jennifer?
I wanted to congratulate our newest officers, award winners, and Sergeant David Kraus. For Alliance, we had our meeting on Monday. There's a movie night and candy bingo on May 1st. They're showing Freakier Friday as of right now, but that being subject to change. Candy bingo will be in the high school cafeteria starting at 5:30, with the movie in the auditorium starting at 6:45. I'm going to have more details regarding admission at the next council meeting, or at least before the event. And this is to benefit 2026 project graduation. Girls on the Run was not successful. We will be looking to get a team together for the fall, so keep an eye out for signups. The Elks are hosting an adult Easter egg hunt on March 28th at 6 p.m., $20 a person. The county is hosting a town hall meeting at Firehouse 3 on April 27th at 6 p.m. for the What is Your Anti-Drug campaign winners and participants, and our positive ticket recipients. From Hopatcon, we had 2 winners, Avery W. and Kim O. Last week, the Alliance hosted Addiction 101 for the freshman class. They also hosted Health and Wellness Bingo yesterday at the Senior Center. The next Alliance meeting is April 20th at 6 p.m. at Town Hall. For the school, the PTSO is hosting a tree tray this Saturday. Doors open at 1:30, calling starts at 4. Tickets are available Although pre-sale tickets are over, you can show up on the day of to participate. There are many, many baskets ranging from landscaping services from Jack Serto to a basket that has $800 worth of Botox. It's going to be a fun day. The school continues to raise funds for the new gym floor, which has not been maintained since the gym was opened in 1995. If you're interested in donating, please email the super J Hallenbach at hopakonschools.org. Congratulations to William Bender on being named the high school's unsung hero for his resilience and ability to overcome adversity and his selfless contributions to the school community. The next Board of Ed meeting is Monday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. at the administration building. For ordinance, we haven't met since before our last council meeting. There are a couple of ordinances on our agenda today, short-term rental, vacant property, and then final readings for the soliciting and peddler's license and raising the fees for bingo and raffle licenses. Ambulance had their monthly meeting last night. She sent me an email. They have a very busy 2026 so far with over 200 911 calls. Pet oxygen masks were donated by the Mona Pants Foundation and are now in all 3 ambulances. There are 2 new per diem EMT hires this month. 4 to 5 new volunteer members are in the process of being onboarded. New volunteer members are needed. Now is a great time to join. No experience necessary. We provide all the training at no cost to you and at your pace. We work around your busy schedule. We sponsor qualified members for their EMT certification. Members gain life-saving as well as career-building skills. There are several bills being considered in Trenton to provide incentives for volunteering, including various tax credits. As these bills start to gain traction in the new legislative season, we will ask that the borough help support move these bills along. And they wanted to thank Judy, Bridget, and the team for helping resolve the LoSAP issue from 2024. The next meeting is Tuesday, April 21st at 7:30 p.m. at the ambulance department. They're always looking for volunteers. Please contact at hopakonems.org. And lastly, I wanted to send my condolences to the family of Amira Sanchez, who was a Hopakon High School freshman who passed last week. That's it.
Thank you. Anthony?
Real estate committee is a lot on auction for tonight, which is good. So no other significant updates, but I certainly echo everybody else's comments regarding our PD. We're very fortunate with the police department we have in town. Congratulations to Sergeant Kraus and as well everybody that responded and the other award winners and people that responded to the fire. I think one of the things that's notable is how the residents in town pitched in as well to do what they could do when we had that fire with Oscar. And that was, it's a remarkable story and we have remarkable residents absolutely in Hopakon too. And I also was very, very happy to see that Judy's on her feet, Jackie's on her feet and back again. That was incredible. So our thoughts and prayers, I'm sure, go out to her and her family and her continued recovery. So it was wonderful to see her here.
Very
And
good.
that's it.
Thank you. Joe?
No updates, Mayor.
Rachel?
Donna, just ditto across the board for the PD. We have a great police department, so I'd love to see the community support come out for them. I do want to pass out this resolution for review, not for tonight, just for consideration for a future meeting. This resolution comes from Senator Mike Pepton, who's encouraging every mayor and council member in New Jersey to speak out on behalf of themselves and their property tax paying constituents by passing this resolution. What this calls for is a $94 million increase in municipal aid proposed by the governor to be distributed equally among all municipalities on a per capita basis. So I just wanted to pass that out and we have the record of it. Under the New Jersey Constitution, the state legislature must pass a balanced budget by June 30th, 2026. I do want to thank the Environmental Commission for all their work on posting the signs around Roland Eaves Wildlife Sanctuary. I know the ordinance was passed in 1993 with very strict rules in place regarding the hunting. But I think in terms of for ordinance, Mayor, we do still need to create a wildlife task force in order for us to be fully in compliance with that ordinance. I think that would be great for us to do. This task force reports annually to the governing body, providing recommendations of a wildlife management plan for the conduct of public hunting and any other method of wildlife management on municipally owned property. I will happily volunteer. That is a mayorally appointed committee. So I would love to be part of that if chosen. On Friday, May first at 7:30, Sussex County Community College and the Public Safety Training Academy will be hosting a national event at the Sussex County First Responder Memorial in honor of Captain Henry Sardina III. That'll be held at 114 Morris Turnpike in Newton, New Jersey. The fire department is hosting a first responder mental fitness and PTSD outreach tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at Hopatcon High School. This is open to all first responders, fire department, police department, EMS, dispatch, and it's not just for Hopatcon, it's any neighboring towns are welcome as well. The last thing I have, I did provide these to our administrator to put in the municipal building. It's just a reminder from the Division of Highway Traffic Safety to put the phones away. On the back of this, it does list all the fine offenses, which do not include the court costs. So grab yourself one on the way out. Ron has it stacked up here if anybody is interested. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Administrator's report?
Mayor, I'm gonna make it simple tonight. We're gonna do something I find great pleasure in doing as the administrator, and that's go to number 7, the sale of a block of 40911 lot 38. Go.
All right,
Very good.
this is gonna be an auction of municipal property, block 40911 lot 38. This auction has been authorized by an ordinance that had a second reading and public hearing at March 4th, 2026. The minimum bid on this lot is $6,400 and the successful bidder is required to pay a 10% deposit and a $450 transaction fee. So I'm gonna open this up for bidding. Do I have any bids for $6,400? All right, I see one. Is there any other bids? Going once, twice, sold. All right. So do we need to get this information now or do you want to get?
We got it.
after?
We have it.
We have it?
We've been in
Okay.
contact and we'll take care of it this week.
All right, so we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Closing the auction. Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is open to the public for anything and everything that is on and off the agenda. Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back. Oh, Dave?
Not to be a pest, but it seems every year when we have the awards for the police and the firemen and what have you, we know it's gonna be a big crowd, and we know we're gonna do it in 2 weeks. I see no reason why at the latest meeting, the council could have mentioned the fact that in 2 weeks, we're having this presentation program, and we're gonna meet at Firehouse 3. And I mentioned it last year, and I don't look at the webpage or whatever, and I didn't get anything on my phone. And I got here and I drove around, and you can't even make a U-turn in this parking lot because there's a fence there. And then it's very narrow, you have to back up, and it would seem that if you can't make the announcement 2 weeks in advance, which you know you're gonna have, I think it's only a courtesy so that the families and everybody can fit in here. And if it's gonna be a big group, like with the Stanhope department, police department, and these other things, is have it at the high school. But, I mean, this room is too small. You have these people standing down in the well. It just doesn't seem right or fair. You know, I would hope next year you can make the announcement at the previous meeting and alert everyone, even on their phones. Well, that's my point for that,
Mhm.
okay?
Duly noted.
Also, I noticed there's a sign about a health center opening up in the Walgreens shopping mall. Is that our health center or is that another part of that complex?
We have the wellness center at the Walgreens Shopping Center.
No, I understand that,
I know.
but I see there's a sign that there's a vacancy in the Walgreens Center for a doctor's office or for.
I don't think that that's for ours.
That's not
That's
us.
not for our.
That's not us
So basically ours is gonna continue there?
for now.
Yeah, for now, that's what's there, but we're not hiring a doctor or anything.
No, I didn't feel it was the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was a private organization that they're looking for,
Mhm.
because there's an empty space. The last thing is, the motel that's on, Lakeside Boulevard. It seems like there's a lot of cars parked by it, but there's no people living there. And I was wondering, is that part of the auto place next door?
I believe that the motel has their own parking, they have their own clients, they have their own people that are there. I'm not aware if people can live there or can't live there. I know some of the area is livable, some of it is being worked on. So I don't have a direct answer for you because again, some of it is livable, some of it is not. So I'm not familiar with the
But
cars.
it's not cars from the car.
I don't believe so, no.
We don't know.
Because it doesn't
Yeah.
look presentable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just wanted to bring attention to some things with the Jersey Natural Gas.
Can I have your name?
Ryan Fogowski.
Thank you.
They started, I live on Williams Trail, they started on Lucas.
Could you speak a little louder?
Sure. They started on Lucas. Really not impressed with the work they're doing. The road is covered in debris. They're pushing when they sweep, like if they dump a load of QP, say in the road. At the end of the day, they take a stiff broom that's on like a little mini tractor. They sweep it off the edge of the road into people's lawns or whatever. That's not right. Again, the road's got debris all down the road. I don't know if the contract says they have to clean the road. But I know when we did the sewers, they had a street sweeper that went around, cleaned the roads and made it presentable again. Also to make you guys aware, I heard, only a rumor, I heard there was multiple cars that have been hit. I do know for a fact the car on Lucas was backed over by the loader operator last week. I personally walk the dog. I've seen how he drives. I operate heavy machinery for operating engineers. I'd be fired if I ran a machine the way they do on these streets. The only people there are the employees. You don't see an engineer, you don't see an inspector. Now, I'm not saying they're not there, but if they are there and you got a machine running up and down the road too fast, why aren't they doing something about it or saying, hey, slow it down a little bit? That's probably why he backed over a car, because he's going too fast and not paying attention. So it's only the beginning of the project for the second phase. But the neighborhood I'm in, people are not happy, you know, especially the guy got his car run over, you know, so. I didn't know if you guys were aware of the things that are going on, but I wanted to make you aware. I walked the dog today. There's screenings in the road, there's QP in the road, you know, little debris piles, but still it should be cleaned up. We shouldn't, you put a rock in a tire, that car leaves town, breaks somebody's windshield driving behind them, you know, now it's nobody's fault, but somebody's out of windshield, you know. I think we could do better in holding them accountable for cleaning up and keeping things neat. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have two things, or maybe a couple, but whoever's responsible for getting those potholes fixed on top of Brooklyn Mountain, thank you so much. You saved a lot of cars. Also, a NIPS alert went out about cars to not park in the street during the snow. That was not adhered to on a lot of streets. What are we going to do in the future to hold people accountable? There's cars parked in front of driveways and the driveway is empty, but the car is in the road covered with snow for days on end. There's been several cars throughout the town parked at stop signs. There's streets that are basically blocked and the roads are so narrow to begin with. I don't know if there's an emergency, how an ambulance or a fire truck can even get down the streets with the way people park on opposite sides of the street, right across from each other. You can't even, you have to like go around the street to even get to your own house. Who's monitoring the roads? Who's, looking and ticketing or knocking on doors? It's very easy to run a license plate from the police department to see who that car belongs to. why it's sitting at a stop sign for days on end. The school buses can't see when they're trying to stop or turn down the streets. I can't see. I have to pull out into oncoming traffic to get around cars to see. It's not safe. And if there's an emergency, you know, houses are going to burn down or people are going to, you know, suffer the consequences because emergency personnel cannot get through. That's all.
Ma'am,
Michelle,
state your name.
Macaro.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she knows my info.
Anyone else? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back?
Motion.
All those in favor? Abstentions? Moving on to the approval of the minutes for March 4th, 2026, the regular and the executive minutes, and Mr. Falcone is not eligible.
Make the motion.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Staying.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. We don't have any correspondence for this evening. We have the consent agenda, which is the tax collector's report. Can I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Make the motion.
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Moving on to resolutions. Moving on to resolutions, resolution 2026-73, authorizing live streaming of work sessions. We've had multiple discussions about this.
Have discussion about it? Or no?
If you want to have another discussion about it, you can.
I just don't understand why we wouldn't live stream work sessions. They're the same as live stream meetings that we're doing right now. And they enable people who are not able to make meetings, especially those who are disabled, to be able to look back and watch the meetings or watch them in real time. We've never had interactive meetings, so that's a moot issue, I think, right now, unless, until we want to change that. But I don't know why we wouldn't pass this resolution.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
No.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic,
No.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
No.
That's a tie.
To, break it up.
I'm voting no.
Wow.
Moving on to resolution 2026-74, authorizing a temporary budget for the year of 2026. And the roll call?
There's discussion.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I have to like
Sure,
angle this way.
sure.
Just a quick question around the budget itself. Are we gonna have time to have a work session only because the state guidelines, the introduction to the deadline to introduce our budget is March 31st or the next regular meeting? And I know our next regular meeting, I think, is after that. So are we gonna be requesting an extension? Or is there time to even have a work session on the budget to meet the deadlines?
At this point in time, the auditors still have our budget. We do not have it to continue to work on until they have finished with it. Unfortunately, we don't have it. So I'm assuming that they have the ability to know all the dates that you mentioned and that they're going to make sure that we can fulfill all of those obligations that we need to do.
Okay, so but is there a plan to have a budget work session regardless of the fact that it's not going to be live streamed for transparency, but are we gonna have one?
Yes, we would have to have one, yes. Roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2026-75, authorizing a transfer to the temporary budget for the year 2026 for the water and sewer budget.
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Moving into the bills list, which is 2026-76. Joe, at the last meeting, we changed the way that we're doing this. We are giving a motion in a second and then doing a roll call. When the roll call happens, if you need to remove a bill off the bill list, you are just saying yes to the bill list, but you're removing whatever the number is so that we don't have a bunch of different votes on a bunch of different things. There was a little bit of confusion last time, so this is just something that we're going with, okay? So can I have a motion for the bill list
Make the motion.
Second.
and the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic. Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Great, thank you. Moving on to ordinances, we have the introduction of 8-2026, an ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the Borough of Hopatcong, New Jersey, entitled Short-Term Rentals, Chapter 189, Section 189-7, and establishing a municipal occupancy tax to be imposed upon the owners of short-term rental properties, Chapter 152, Hotel and Motel Occupancy Tax, Section 152.5.
Make the motion.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 9-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong amending chapter 179 entitled Property Maintenance, adding a new section under Article 5 to establish standards for the registration and maintenance of vacant and abandoned residential properties, including properties in foreclosure.
Motion.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic. Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Ordinance 10-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending chapter 108 entitled Miscellaneous Fees, A24, the fire inspection fees. And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic. Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Moving on to 11-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex and State of New Jersey, modifying section 17-27 and 17-28 regarding LoSAP.
Motion.
Second.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic. Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. We need to do a reintroduction of ordinance 4-2026.
Motion.
That's the final reading.
No, it's,
So just to clarify, so there was confusion as to ordinance 4/2026. That is going to be a final hearing. I spoke with Shauna. There was additions that were left out of that ordinance that were included in 10/26. Is that correct? That are,
oh,
so,
okay,
so that one is the same as the first reading, so we can hear this on second reading and have
Okay.
that final hearing.
that's fine. So we're not doing a
It's the final.
reintroduction. It's a final hearing on ordinance 4-2026. An ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey to amend chapter 129-3 of the Borough Code entitled Games of Chance Fees and chapter 171 entitled Peddling and Soliciting, section 171-6.
Motion. Second.
And can I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is open to the public for ordinance 4-2026. Is there anybody that would like to speak on that ordinance? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back
Motion.
Second.
and the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic, Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 5-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex and State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code to revise Chapter 13 entitled Court Joint Municipal, which is the change of the names in the joint court. And can I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This ordinance is open to the public. If anybody would like to speak on this ordinance.
I'd just like to know, is there a fee that we pay for these ordinances? Every time we change the name of an ordinance, are we paying for the work on it?
Well, we introduce the ordinance and then we have the final readings on the ordinances. We do have fees that we pay through our attorneys who prepare these, for us. Some of them are prepared through the attorney, some of them are not prepared through the attorney. But just because we change the fees doesn't necessarily mean it encompasses a fee from the attorney. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes our clerk will write the ordinances, sometimes the administrator will write them, sometimes it's the attorney, depending on what it is.
Like this ordinance, is there,
Shauna wrote this.
was.
No, this was actually Andover.
Oh, this was Andover's, actually.
And Mayor, we're required, just so the public's aware,
Yeah.
every time, because we're part of the joint court, every time there's a change to the agreement, we're legally required to update the ordinance so it reflects correctly with all the participating municipalities.
So if somebody leaves, we gotta make an ordinance. If somebody joins it, we have to have an ordinance.
But it sounds like they're providing us with the ordinance.
They are.
Yes, they're
yes, they
providing
are.
us with this ordinance.
For this ordinance, anytime this changes now.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Not seeing anything? You're welcome. Motion to bring it back? And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic, Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 6-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of certain borough property owned by the borough and not required for public purposes, commonly known as Block 40414, Lot 57. And can I have a motion to open to the public?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So this ordinance is open to the public for discussion if anybody has any questions. Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back
Second.
and the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 7-2026, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of a certain property owned by the borough and not required for public purposes, commonly known as Block 40101, Lot 16.
Motion.
Second.
And can I have a motion to open to the public? This ordinance is open to the public for any questions or comments about this.
Is it possible with these lots that are being sold for us to have the actual address? So we know where the place is.
I believe it's in the ordinance.
It is.
It's in the ordinance.
It's in the body of the ordinance
Why can't it be just on this document?
because it's the title.
But that's just the
Because
title.
that's the
It's the
title of the
title
ordinance.
only.
That's the title of the ordinance. We just read the title of the ordinance is what he's saying.
Okay, you can't just put the little sentence with the.
Oh.
20 DuPont Avenue,
Mhm.
like that next to it.
Sure. Okay,
So the town is selling these properties?
correct.
And what are the properties currently being utilized for?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The vacant lot.
They're held by the municipal body through, I think, probably tax sale certificate.
Yep.
And now they're being sold because they're not being used by anything for public good by the municipality. So they're sold to get money for it and also to get tax from it again by an owner.
And can someone build on them?
It depends on the lot.
Depends on the lot.
Some of the lots are conforming, some of the lots are non-conforming. Some of the properties only adjoining property owners can actually bid on. Some of them anybody can bid on. It depends on the individual lot. I believe we have a list of the lots. Did we put the list back up, Ron?
Not
for-
yet, no.
We will be putting the list back up for municipal properties that are for sale, if you wanted to peruse through them.
And then there's a process to bid on
Mhm.
them.
Yes.
It's like
It's gonna be what happened tonight will happen at the next meeting.
Yep.
Yep, and so for what we just did tonight will happen for these two lots and blocks that we just read off. Okay,
There's an application process. If you have a block and lot you're interested in, there's an application process and it goes through a filtering system through us, through all the planning, the engineer, DPW. And a fee. There's $100 application fee. And then we go through the process. If it's a property that we can sell, we'll put it on, we'll write the ordinance and we start the process. So
Motion to bring it back?
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovic, Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, we have cannabis.
I think one of the last things we needed to discuss with cannabis was the setbacks. That's how we were at the last meeting. So I don't know if any of you guys have had any opinions about the setbacks or, maybe not setbacks, what's the word I'm looking for?
Close enough.
Buffer zones, yeah. After reading Mr. Rushke's report. Do you have any opinions?
Yeah, I
Um,
think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I was just actually gonna add, so one of the next, just so we keep the ball rolling on this, and there's other procedural aspects that need to go on. So part of what happens when we go through a cannabis ordinance is we need to amend the master plan to permit cannabis in the township or in the borough. What we could do is submit a request to the planning board, which would be the body that amends the master plan to do a master plan reevaluation and see if the master plan can be amended to permit cannabis. And that way, they can get the ball rolling on that, which would be required anyway, if an ordinance were to be passed. And then, there could be a work session, where everything can just be, just a work session for cannabis.
Right.
And you guys can just discuss, the only thing on the agenda is cannabis. And at that point, we'll hear back from them.
So
If that's what you guys want to do, it's a
So
recommendation.
the way it was explained from Mr. Rushke, so the last meeting,
Yeah.
was that all we would have to do
Mhm.
is unrestrict cannabis, unprohibit cannabis, because there's an ordinance prohibiting. And we would have to negate that ordinance, and in doing that, that would prompt the land use board, because the land use board has to follow, I guess, what we do.
So what?
And then that would prompt them, but I was told not to do that until we had an ordinance to go move forward with.
So,
That's what we were
And I was-
advised with from Mr. Lavery last week.
yeah,
That's-
and I understand I was not there. And that is correct. So what would happen is there'd be an ordinance, when you pass cannabis, it is restricted right now. You'd be an ordinance and then that would be sent, as all zoning ordinances are, sent to the planning board for a consistency review. And that consistency review is that it's consistent with the master plan.
Right.
Now, that would fail that if you didn't amend the master plan.
Right.
So that's what they said is all true, and that it's restricted at this point, but, they might not have just brought it up because they were talking about, the master plan at that point. And I spoke with Mike and he's in agreement with me. And it's something that can be happening in the background, but if you guys want to send it to the planning board right now, in addition to doing what you're doing, they can at least get the ball rolling on that. Because all zoning ordinances, and this would be a zoning ordinance, because it would be permitting cannabis in zones in the township or in the borough. And that would have to go through a consistency review stating that it's consistent with the master plan. Of course, that master plan does not permit cannabis at this point.
So we would have to vote right now to send that to the land use board. For
Yeah,
them to,
And it would just be an informal
Well, we could
vote.
give you direction to do that.
Yeah, well, we would direct Ron
Ron,
to
Ron,
contact,
okay,
yeah,
Ron.
to contact.
Coming down the hill.
this is like, it's big, and just so I can write it down. So the land use board has to modify,
Modify the
Master plan.
be consistent with Tuesday.
to allow cannabis. Now, that itself doesn't allow cannabis. At
Right,
that
of
point,
course, right.
that just makes it so you could pass an ordinance.
And then we can
Permitting it.
unprohibit.
And then you could unprohibit, and then that ordinance would get sent, as all zoning ordinances are, sent to the land use board for what's called a consistency review. And then they have to deem it consistent with the master plan. If they deem it consistent with the master plan, then it gets sent back to you guys for second reading.
I think in addition, what Mr. Lazen said as well, we need to keep in mind that unrestricting cannabis in town isn't necessarily going to bring the people in town. What we need to do is have an ordinance to approve it under certain conditions. And then that way, people, organizations that are interested in delivering retail, wholesale distribution, what have you, will come. But he did make a point, and it seemed fairly cogent at the time, that until we put an ordinance together that will allow it, more than likely organizations aren't going to come in and invest in the town to go do it because they don't know what way that will necessarily go, just
Right.
simply unrestricting it. So
So.
I just want to point that out because there are a couple of different steps in order to get there.
Yeah, and I know, Councilwoman Johnson had requested a work session. And the reason why we didn't plan one was because we were gonna have discussion at the council meeting under old business to determine where the council stood in terms of the setbacks from schools and whatever other structures we wanted to increase the setbacks to, based on John Rushby's report. So I think that was the direction that she was looking for before we can go to the ordinance committee to formulate something for council to review, because we need something to work off of before an ordinance could even be crafted. So I think she's looking, Jen, correct? You're looking for.
That's what I thought we were coming back with.
So I know there's a lot of moving pieces here, but I think in order for any ordinance from the council, we need to know where everybody's head's at in terms of the setbacks from schools and everything else that we want to avoid. So, anybody have any comments?
So what I would suggest is taking Rachel's suggestion in between now and our next meeting, April 1. Everybody should look at Mr. Rushke's map. You should give your opinion about setbacks for schools and municipal and parks and whatnot. I know Mr. Rushke said that there is mandatory ones with parks and certain things, but we can certainly formulate opinions so that we have that for the next meeting. And in the meantime, Ron can send that to the planning board.
Yep,
Planning
our
board.
engineer.
Send that to the planning board so we can get that started at the same time, so we're not just spinning.
It's a dual path.
Yeah,
And just so we're clear on Mr. Rushke's report, there are no mandatory buffers or setbacks. So there's none. It's up to the governing body what those buffers are and what those setbacks are. It is 100% up to us. There are some towns in your report that had 0 feet, which, let's not be insane. But there were some that had 250 feet. There were some that had 500 feet. A lot of them had none, which I think is, again, I don't think that that's prudent or responsible of us, but there are no mandatory buffers zones,
So
just to make that clear.
are we doing the work session with the council meeting next?
well, what'll happen is everybody can give their feedback, whether it's to Ron to compile, to put everything together of what everybody's thinking. We can have that for the next meeting. I don't think that the land use is gonna be able to put it on the agenda before the next, no, actually, we don't have a meeting on the 31st. We don't have a meeting on the 31st. But that can get sent to land use. Everybody can get their comments to Ron to compile together about what they're thinking about. At the April 1 meeting, we can get together and pick a date that we can have a cannabis meeting. And the cannabis meeting should be just for cannabis, and it should be, completely, we are letting the public know that's what we're doing. Our intention is to, possibly sell cannabis so that we can, also have the impact from the public at the same time. Pro or con, because it's a volatile topic, no matter whether you're pro or con. So we want to make sure that we have a meeting that's just for that, just for that.
That would be live streamed?
Well, we can't, we just haven't voted on it now. So we can't fully inform the public.
That's me.
So then, okay. So would the land use board be able to deny modifying the master plan?
Yeah, it is, it's their prerogative on what happens with the master plan. They're the entity that, amends master plans.
So if they say no, it's a non-issue. It's a moot issue, which cannot be, that's it.
So it's more difficult. I don't want to say it's impossible. If it gets sent to consistency review and it's inconsistent with master plan because the master plan doesn't permit it, it gets sent back to council for second reading to pass with reasons as to why you are passing a zoning ordinance that's inconsistent with the master plan.
So we can override that decision.
You can.
You can.
Yes, but let's cross that bridge.
Yes,
when we
of
get
course.
there.
I
Yeah.
just I want to be informed
Yeah.
because.
It's not a no.
I think in this case, I think work session should include the council meeting, so it could be live streamed. Because-
Well, again, we can have a meeting that's just cannabis and we can make it a council meeting. We certainly can do
Yeah.
that.
But then it will be live streamed, then people will be able to do it from home
Correct.
also at the same
Yep.
time.
Correct.
So their next land use board meeting is the 7th, right?
Mhm.
And then our next meeting after that would be the 15th. So then the direction to Ron would be,
I'm gonna write an email to Rusky first thing in the morning and ask him to develop a revision plan for the master plan to be on the first available agenda for the land use. We gotta get in queue. And so he's gonna have to write that, whatever that language is, and then get that to the land use board as an agenda item for the land use board.
and no offense, but does the governing body supersede the queue?
Well,
I'm not trying to sound like. an
I don't know
about it, But
And-
like,
I do want to say.
I apologize for my
There,
language.
for a master plan amendment, there needs to be, his report needs to be in 10 days prior
Got
to
it.
the meeting and on file with the clerk.
right.
So, what'd you say it was? When was it?
April 7th. is their
April
next meeting.
7th.
Well, your next meeting.
So that's,
Almost a month from now, so 3 weeks from now.
that's a Saturday, so it's the 27th, Friday, the 27th, he's reporting. So, I would say we contact him to see if that's possible.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from
And then
there.
if not the 7th,
Yeah.
then it would be on the 21st, and then our meeting wouldn't be until the first week of May. And now we're,
Yeah.
like, you're talking about 6 weeks from now.
Well, and like I said, you could still discuss, that's a separate track. So you guys can still do what you need to do on the other end, but I'm just recommending that you get the ball rolling.
Got it, understood. Okay. So, but we can still have our work session.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
all
absolutely.
right. So do we want to make our work session on the 1st?
No, we won't have the availability to do it on the 1st. What we can do on the 1st is all of the information in between today and our next meeting, all of your information with the setbacks and whatnot, get that to Ron so he can compile all of that information. At the meeting on the 1st, we will set a date for a meeting that's just in reference to cannabis.
So we can have it on the 1st?
The agenda has too many things that are on the agenda, and we want to be able to get the information out, to the public so that they're aware of what's happening and what's going on. And it should be something that is devoted just to that.
Mayor, I don't want to be combative here. I'm kind of confused, right? You were a no vote on the transparency for the live streaming the sessions, and now you want to be transparent on cannabis. Are we picking and choosing when to be transparent, or are we going to be transparent all the time?
No, I think that's a disillusioned thought, actually. If we're having a council meeting that's relating to whatever's on the agenda and it's a council meeting that's for that, and it's not a work session, it's going to be a council meeting that's relating to cannabis.
Right, but you stated that you want to keep the public informed, which I agree with.
I want to keep the public informed about cannabis because it is a very hot topic, whether you're for it or you're against it. And it would be absolutely unfair to the public to not let them know something that's happening.
Totally agree. So we want to be transparent on marijuana, but nothing else.
For us to be able to live stream the meeting that we're going to be having for cannabis, that is a council meeting, that's what we're doing. Is there any other comments about cannabis?
If we're gonna be doing a separate cannabis work session before the meeting, why couldn't we do it, or after the meeting, why couldn't we do it on April 1st? Because it has nothing to do with the agenda, it's its own separate entity.
It is its own agenda. It is a council meeting that is just going to have cannabis in it.
But we're not voting on anything. We're working towards something. So it's a work session.
It's irrelevant. We're not going to do it on April 1st. We don't have the availability to do it on April 1st. We're going to do it on a different day. We're getting to a point now where we're moving along with this and we're just going to continue to move forward with it. It's not going to be on April 1st. Any other conversation other than having cannabis on the April 1st meeting? Okay, moving on to the local government week. Do you have an update, Ron?
No, I've been in contact with our risk manager every day. He's promising me everything by the end of the week. I'm going to continue to call him every day until I get that. So he'll have everything that we're going to need for the ability to do that with the students, from sign-off sheets to a video to certain things we're going to have to comply with. I don't know what all those options are right now. Some things have been sent to our risk manager from the JIF attorney. But once I get that in hand, I will email that to everyone the minute I get it.
Okay. Moving on to transitioning the Recreation Commission to a committee. This is on here, but I know Mike had mentioned to me.
Yeah, Mike was gonna attend one of the meetings and it was canceled. He is going to attend the next meeting in April and just asked that any council discussion would just wait until he's able to have that discussion and then we can have a full briefing in executive.
Okay.
Can we keep this on for old business then?
Yeah.
Are they being informed? 'Cause I know the council, we're getting emails from the Recreation Commission. Are they being responded to by the administration just so they know what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah, they were today.
Okay, moving on to new business. We don't have any. Public comment. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is open to the public for anything and everything that's on the agenda, on and off the agenda.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, how are
I
you?
have a chance to welcome you back.
Thank you.
I would appreciate when you all vote, you look up and you look out. Nothing written down on a piece of paper when you're voting on an ordinance, and I sit here and I would like to see your eye contact when you're voting. Any corporation I've ever worked for, when we voted, everyone was looked up. So I would appreciate you all looked up, stand by your convictions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So 6 years ago, it was on the ballot and the public spoke and they voted yes for cannabis. So my question tonight for you all is, what is the hesitation? We have nothing to lose. We only have to gain by having cannabis here in this town. It's tax revenue that we so desperately need, okay? We talk about a budget. We can't pass anything. We don't have money. We're budgeting everything. So what is the hesitation? Who's going to be hurt over cannabis that is now legal? That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Dave?
Just thought of this, but with all these terrorist activities in our country, we do have that term. We were told about a couple of years ago that we have cameras all over town to prevent vandalism and other things. It would seem now at this time when life is so precarious, is there anyone who's auditing these tapes? Are they working?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are.
They are working. And how many do we have?
We
A
are
bunch.
not, again, we're not going to give out specifics about
You
cameras.
still drive that blue Toyota?
License plate.
Thank you.
Thank you though, Dave, but they are there. Anyone else?
I have a question to go with the previous woman. I don't understand. We want to sell off lots because we need the tax revenue. We're putting up mansions next to 900 square foot homes that look ridiculous because it's tax revenue.
But as she said, you guys are stalling on cannabis and it's tax revenue. I don't understand. It almost seems like it, and I could be wrong, but it seems like if we put up 15 houses and we get maybe say $100,000 in tax revenue from those 15 houses, you'd get more from approving cannabis. So it seems like we're chasing pennies when we should be chasing dollars. So I really don't understand. I work in a field where I follow federal guidelines, so I can't use it. But I don't have a problem with it. Some people do, that's their right. But I don't see the harm in having the tax revenue or a store in town. If you don't like it, don't go there, you know, as long as it's not like, I agree with them, it should not be with like zero clearance next to a daycare or a school. I mean, that's ridiculous, but I mean, if we're sensible about it and we're smart about it, I think it could be a lucrative business to the town. And I'm a little confused, and Mr. Falcone brought it up. You guys don't want to live stream work sessions, which if I understand right, are a public meeting. So the public has the right to see what's going on. If I'm quoting you correctly, Mayor, you said that cannabis is a hot topic, so that's why it would be streamed. Well, so is my taxes. So are my road conditions. So is everything at my schools, everything, it's all hot topics. Right now, the world's a mess. Nobody trusts anybody. And this is your chance to be transparent and show us you're doing the right thing for us, because we elected some of you on a transparency campaign. So me personally, that's why I elected you guys, because I want transparency. I want to see what's going on. I want to know where my money's going. I want to know what I'm being taxed on. And then, I hope I pronounced your name right, Mr. Kusvik. You said you wanted no live streaming of a work session, but then you asked and you said the word work session for a cannabis meeting, and you wanted it live streamed. So you're contradicting yourself. We should not be picking and choosing what we're doing. Either you're for it or you're against it. But in the middle of it, you can't go, well, this topic's a hot topic, so I want to do it. Because I feel taxes are a hot topic, everything's a hot topic. The people that live here, some of you are on the, I don't know if you all live here, I know some of you do, but I'm sure personally, you'd like to know where your money's going. So if you are doing right by us and listening to what we want, why would you hide from a live stream? I don't understand.
So if I may, I'll respond. The work session is meant for governing body to like rent out things. That's like, before you go to a restaurant to eat a steak, you go to, go see where the steak was made.
Right.
And tell your kids, this is what we're ordering, then go to the restaurant. That's kind of the idea behind it.
Okay.
Year over year, budget, not a lot of things happen. There's a lot of healthy discussion that goes on before we finally commit to the budget.
Okay.
And I was involved with the budget for like 15 or 18 years. I do know from the past, I think 3 years ago, when they changed it to where the department heads were speaking publicly, they were like really nervous, because usually what happens is you sit down with the department heads, you have entire budget, you go to financial committees, they look at your budget, they knock it down a few things and then bring it back. So nothing earth shattering does happen. Unless it's like economic development in the areas that happens, then that kind of gets resolved in those kind of meetings. And then it comes out public, and we vote everything in public anyway. So everything is transparent, all the bills that get paid, everything's there. So
Right.
nothing is hidden. So as far as transparency, like, our executive meetings should be live streamed because they're more exciting than the budget meetings.
Okay.
You know, so that's my take on that. And I stand by that. To me, like, I know where the money's going. Everybody sees where the money's going. Live streaming a work session, I think that's a lot to handle.
Because you're held accountable by us to see how you're.
Oh, there's nobody's being held, because the department heads, when their budget would spend out like, you know, if we think we need to cut something, we discuss it, and all of a sudden somebody sees, oh, they talk about cutting this or doing that, then there's. I give you an example, last year, initially, before we start talking about the budget, the number was a lot higher to increase it than we actually were able to knock it down to.
Okay.
If people, an average person knew how much value that was, I don't think we would have been able to.
We're
All those people.
And that's the idea behind it.
Say something.
We talked about that, and a department head should be able, this is, when we're talking about budget and tax dollars and money, this is their money. Again, it's our money. They should know where it's being spent, how it's being spent, and every step of the way. So if a department head doesn't want to come in and talk to the council and present what they want to spend the residents' money on, then that's a problem. That's a huge problem, camera or not.
I said,
But in front of
well,
the
you said they're not going to. I said-
Okay,
understand, but if they're
okay. We're at enough with this. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something before I end this?
I did. First of all, you know, from a transparency perspective, everything that we do is transparent. But there's a balance with openness too, right? Whether it's openness to look at new ideas and put new things out there. You know, the live streaming, it tends to sometimes restrict that. And other towns have seen that. We've had a lot of discussions with other towns, and actually very few live stream their work sessions. So there is nothing that's happening in the work sessions that ultimately the town's not going to find out about it in terms of it being voted on, all right? So anywhere that we end up, the town's going to know and have an opportunity to talk about that and discuss that with the council prior to us voting on it. But there's lots of ideas that come out. And sometimes people, you know, may not feel as open about talking about those things when they know that it's going to be live streamed in addition to the council meeting now, or in addition to the live audience. So we're very happy for the residents that really care enough to come out to the meeting and follow the work session. But the live streaming takes it to a different level. And it does tend to restrict some of the openness that people might feel, whether that be council meetings inventing out an idea that they have, or what we're talking about with the budget, with the, you know, with the people that really, you know, want to come in and talk about what they want to have. Everybody has a giant wish list, but if we put that whole thing out there, you know, all of a sudden, you know, the public might get nervous about the fact that we're looking to spend $3 million on a new fire engine when the council's really not, that, you know, somebody might be asking for it, but we know that we can't necessarily get there. So we don't want to alarm people along the way. We do want the council, we do want our professionals, we do want our staff to be open. And, you know, but as we kind of narrow down the funnel of the things that we go through and that we talk about every day, you know, when we get to a point where we think we've got an idea of where we're going, of course, the residents are going to know about it. They're going to have an opportunity to be able to talk, you know, to look at that and give back their feedback. So it's still very transparent. There's a lot of discussion going on about transparency, and, you know, I haven't been on the council a very long period of time. But I get it. But I will tell you that the things that we do and the things that we're accomplishing are very, very transparent. There's nothing happening outside of it. So it's really the balance between, it's really the balance with openness on that. And that's one of the issues with live streaming. There's a cost associated with it too. We are trying to save money, right? We're counting hundreds of dollars, not just thousands of dollars.
What would it cost to run that camera right there?
If a council person did it,
$0.
there's.
We're not going to get into a discussion like that. There's either going to be a one person talking one-on-one, and we're going to end this soon because it's way past the 3 minutes.
Well, anyway, that was,
And it's a
I made
public meeting and
my
I have a
point.
right to speak.
There's a 3 minute.
There's a 3 minute.
Yes, but there's dialogue with the council going on. And Ryan, so what they're saying is basically, obviously the vote happened. We're not gonna live stream the work sessions, but you can still drive to the same meeting where no live streaming is happening and hear exactly what's happening and then broadcast it online.
Okay.
There's claims to there being a limit on creativity. We have to own what we vote on. We have to own the decisions that we make up here. And I think it's sometimes fearful for some for what's posted online to be weaponized against them.
Okay.
But I think what we have seen in 2024, the first time we had a public budget work session and we live streamed it, we actually got emails from residents with fantastic ideas. Because us up here, we don't have all the answers for what the town needs, but the dialogue and that engagement from the public was actually fantastic because we were given other options to listen and utilize to make our budget better. So I'm disappointed in how the vote went, but unfortunately, for those who are physically disabled or those who can't drive at night or those who just don't have a car and can't make it to these meetings, they're now completely shut off, but they're being told, you can't watch from home, but if you can somehow get a ride here, you can take part in these work sessions or hear what's going on.
That was gonna be, while I respect your opinion, I understand where you're coming from, and I see your point of view. I also think that, like Rachel said, I was gonna say, while you guys may present 100 ideas and be nervous to let us see all those ideas, some of those ideas might gain a lot of support because they'll go, hey, wait a minute, we didn't think of that either, but this is a great idea. For me, you guys only usually see me when it's something really important to me. I leave for work at 1:30 in the morning. So when I hear my 3 minutes is up, I'm here and I should have been in bed 2 hours ago, but this is important to me. So it's important to me. I didn't speak for 3 minutes. So
Understood.
I'd ask that be respected.
We appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Rob Howard, wanted to speak. I have the ambulance squad jacket on, but I wanted to speak as a resident. This transparency issue, it's not cut there. Because the last time you did the budget, the first time you did the budget working session was when you almost defunded the ambulance squad. And not one of our members knew about it. So you had two previous council members that were screwing us. We had no idea. We would have had to close our doors. So having these meetings more transparent, working sessions more transparent, does get people more involved and does have good ideas from the public, better ways to do things. We're not all experts on everything. So I support opening all the meetings to the public, except for HR related stuff. That totally makes sense. But I think you should reconsider your vote.
Thank you.
I didn't get my full 2 minutes. In regards, again, to the cannabis and to being transparent. We all voted for somebody up here, okay, to work for us. You work for the people. What we say matters, okay? You should take what we say, bring it back to the table because that's our voice. You work for us, okay? As far as cannabis goes, I don't understand the hesitations. I don't understand what is so difficult. Why not talk to a neighboring town that the snap of the fingers were up and running and have multiple? There's just, it's not that difficult, trust me. I have a friend in the business. It's not that difficult. So figure it out. The people spoke. Why, I don't understand why you want to go against people. You don't have to be in favor of cannabis. I personally do not use it myself. But it's money that we need.
Mayor, can I?
Figure it out.
Mayor, can I say something regarding that?
Sure.
I get your point. We all get your point, absolutely. And you're absolutely right too. We need to do what the will of the people, what the will of the residents are in town. But, I'm bringing this up because I've been the one that's been accused of slowing it down, and that my intention is not to slow it down in any way. But this is a long process to go do, and the reason is because not everybody feels your way. There's plenty of residents that have talked to me about not necessarily wanting it in town. So really what we're doing, and somebody brought this up earlier, we're trying to be very thoughtful about how we're going about it. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have a portion of the town that's very happy about it. And we're going to have a portion of the town that's going to be relatively unhappy with it. And what we want to do is absolutely make good, sound decisions so that we can back up why we did what we did. And we want to make sure that where we put it, how we manage it, how we vet out the operators, how we enforce it to make sure there's all goodness coming from it and no harm to the town is incredibly important. So this is a tough topic. It's not as easy as just going and copying an ordinance and putting it in town. A year ago, I put together a list of items that I felt that the council really needed to work on to do a good job in putting an ordinance together for the town. It's not easy. It's not simple. I learned along the way in doing that research that there were a lot of things that we have to think about, a lot of things that we have to talk about. So we make good, sound decisions. So you don't have a council here that's trying to, or an administration here that's trying to not do it. We're just trying to do it the best way that we can, you know, for the town, for all of the residents of the town. Not everybody is in favor of it. Okay, so,
I respect that, I really do, I
But that-
respect the work that you're doing. But why don't we put out another, another survey?
So I'm glad you brought that up
Well,
because
you know, why can't we do a survey?
So I
Why
was gonna-
can't
yeah.
we vote on it again?
Yeah,
Like,
so I was gonna, on the heels of Councilman Bongiovanni discussing the thoroughness of the process, right? A year ago, we had an opportunity that the communication committee was going to put out a vote, right? So we would know, we would have a pulse of the town. We're still waiting for that. So if we had that done, then we would know, we would have box one checked off. The town said yes, now we can move on. We're still waiting for that.
and if you don't mind, Mayor, could I address that too? I want to make sure, because it's not exactly 100%, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but you know, we had talked about a survey. The council asked the communications committee to do it. I had pointed out the fact that to do a survey, to make it representative of the whole town and not just people on a particular social media, that we needed to build something, right? We needed to include it on our website, make sure that we have a channel that gets it done right, make sure that we have a survey that doesn't get gamed and all that. Now, over the past year, we went through several administrators. We went through lawyers, and all these things were an issue in terms of getting a survey done. And it's still an issue today because we don't have our new website. We weren't going to invest the money in our old website. So I don't know that we necessarily need the survey per se. What we need to do is the work to make good decisions to get to the point of putting together a good ordinance. We understand that there's a lot of the town that would like it. We understand the fact that there's a lot of the town that don't necessarily want it. Even if the survey came back and said 72%, just like New Jersey, right, wants to have cannabis in the town, we still have to do the right thing by the other 28% of the town. And that is really the fundamental holdup. So we could talk about the survey all we want, but at the end of the day, if the survey comes back and mirrors exactly what happened in the state, we still have the same problem. We have to do a good job with this. This is a very polarizing topic. It's a hot topic. People are very emotional over it. We want to make sure that we do the right thing. And that's what it really comes down to. So I'm not stalling it. The lack of a survey is not stalling it. But when we want to make a good decision on this is taking time. And there is a lot of steps that we have to go through, as you heard tonight, the land use board, the master plan, all those things. And the other thing too, is this is unfortunately a relatively new council, right? So we're not always aware of all the steps that we need to go through. We are trying to move that ball ahead, though. I promise you that. Okay, nobody is standing in the way of doing that.
well, I just ask you all to cut the divide and work together and work for the people and get the answers we need. That's all.
We agree. We try to do that every day.
It's not about color. It's not about who's on what side, okay?
Understood.
Enough of the divide, enough of the arguing. You work for the people, and it's an embarrassment to this town, the nonstop arguing over every little thing. You guys are not supposed to butt heads against each other. You are supposed to work and come to conclusions and fix problems and listen to the people. So I beg for you guys to please stop, cut the divide, work together.
No, we're gonna get to an end because this is just continually going kind
Well
of
said.
nowhere.
Yeah, well said.
So thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Not hearing anything, motion to bring it back? All those in favor? So I'm just gonna say a few things about cannabis, without any, back and forth. Voting on cannabis here is not our personal opinions. We represent the people of the town in general. So having that being said, whether we're hearing people that are for it or people that are against it is irrelevant. It's something that we're gonna have to collaborate together and work on, but there are many steps that go to this. Everybody pays taxes, and that was brought up. Everybody in this town pays taxes, but not everybody is in favor of cannabis. Not everybody is against cannabis, but everybody pays taxes. So we can't just say everybody wants cannabis because everybody pays taxes. We can't say everybody wants to have cannabis because everybody pays taxes. It's something that is like the word that Anthony used is polarizing. It is absolutely polarizing. And this is just starting, the fact that we're actually considering cannabis is just starting to filter outside of these meetings. There is several Facebook groups where they are talking about it, but the regular public really hasn't been talking about this a lot, which is why it's important for me to make sure that we have a meeting that's just devoted to cannabis where the public can absolutely come. Just like when we have a meeting to talk about the water, just like when we have a meeting to talk about bringing sewers into town so that the entire community knows what's happening while it's happening and before it happens. So this county agency that reached out to me reminded me that 70% of Hopatcon voted to legalize cannabis in the state of New Jersey. 70% of Hopatcon did not vote to legalize it in Hopatcon. 70% of the people who voted that day to legalize cannabis in the state of New Jersey, only 70% of the people that voted that day are the people who voted for cannabis. And that is not a huge representation of the town. And I think that there are people who are very for cannabis, and there are people for just giving the public the information. I don't know where it goes. I don't know where it ends up. I don't know if it's letting the public vote on it by themselves. I don't know if it's taking the advantage of all of the people who come to the next cannabis meeting that we have for the municipality. But again, it's something that you're either for it or you're against it. And there are people that are volatile over it on both sides. But knowing that that it's only just starting to seep out to outside entities that we're trying to do this here in town, we owe it to everybody to know what's going on, and not just the people who are on Facebook and not just the people who are reading our website. Everybody needs to know. It's something that we have to be talking about in all of our entities throughout here, whether it's the schools, whether it's the businesses, whether it's the beach clubs. It doesn't matter who it is, but we have to be able to disseminate the information. And I do agree that nobody has been stalling. We've been working very, very diligently on trying to get this done. We had a planner last year that did not produce. We got a new planner this year and he did produce. And we've been working on that since he did produce, and we've been moving forward ever since then. So we're going to continue to do that, especially with this topic of cannabis. And there really isn't anything for anybody to get so emotional about yet, because we're not there yet. There's no decision either way yet. So there's no reason to get angry at us. There's no reason to be happy because it's over. We're really just, like Anthony said, we're really just in the middle of a planning stage here. And actually, as our attorney mentioned today, we have the aspect of going in front of the land. It has to go in front of the land use board because of the master plan, which hadn't been discussed before. So when it comes to the information here about cannabis, we'll do the best that we have with what we have to work with. And again, I don't know. I don't know how long that will take, but it's not something that you can do overnight, and it's obvious. So thank you very much for listening to my words at the end. I appreciate it. We don't have any executive session, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
So made.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.